You know, in K-pop, there's a formula, right? Months of hype, teasers, the whole build-up. But what happens when a group just throws all of that out the window and still takes over the world? Well, that's exactly the story of NewJeans. So today, we're going to break down their totally game-changing debut, their insane record-breaking success, and yeah, the messy internal conflict that's threatening to tear it all down. And this quote from Billboard's Jeff Benjamin, it just hits the nail on the head. Think about that. In an industry that's all about that massive first week, these guys were an anomaly. Their music didn't just have a huge debut and then fade away. It kept growing. They just kept getting bigger week after week. So the big question is, how on earth did they do it? Okay, so let's get into it. The answer to how lies in a debut strategy that was so bold, it basically took the K-pop playbook and just tossed it in the trash. Seriously. It's not that they bent the rules, it's like they didn't even know the rules existed. So try to imagine this. It's July 22nd, 2022. You're scrolling online and bam, a music video for a song called Attention just appears. No warning, no teasers, you don't know who the members are, nothing. Just a perfect, polished song and video from a group that literally came out of nowhere. It was a total shock to the system. And when you put their methods side by side with a standard K-pop rollout, you really see how wild it was. The usual way is to build this massive hype for one single moment, the big debut. But NewJeans, they flipped it. They made it about discovering them over time. It was all about the music first. They wanted you to fall in love with the songs before you even knew their names. But here's the thing. This whole revolutionary vibe wasn't just a marketing gimmick. No way. It was baked into the very core of their music, their look, their entire identity. They were rewriting the K-pop formula from the inside out. For a long time now, a lot of K-pop has been about what you could call maximalism. You know what I'm talking about. These huge, complex stories and fictional universes, super powerful electronic sounds, and choreography that's just mind-blowingly precise. NewJeans, though, they weren't in the complete opposite direction. They stripped it all back. Their sound was this chill, easy listening vibe, kind of like 90s R&B and pop. Their whole image was natural, like the girl next door, and the choreography, it was just fun, something you wanted to do with your friends. The whole thing just felt so real and accessible. It was like a breath of fresh air. And this all ties back to their name, which is super clever. NewJeans is a play on new jeans, right? Signaling that they're bringing a new DNA to K-pop. But it also makes you think of a classic pair of blue jeans, something timeless that never goes out of style. That was the goal, to be both brand new and classic at the same time. So did this unique approach actually work? Oh yeah, it wasn't just critics who loved them. It turned into a commercial tidal wave. We're talking one of the fastest, most dominant rises the industry has probably ever seen. Get this, they hit 1 billion streams on Spotify faster than any K-pop act in history. That even landed them a Guinness World Record. This wasn't just a successful debut anymore. This was a full-blown global phenomenon. And it wasn't just online. Their streaming numbers were huge, but so were their physical album sales. In 2023, they sold almost 4.4 million albums. Let that sink in. They outsold every single other female K-pop artist. The market is insanely competitive, and they were at the very top. Of course, this wasn't just happening in Korea. Their reach was absolutely global. Their second EP, Get Up, debuted at #1 on the US Billboard 200 chart. That is a massive deal, something very few K-pop groups ever achieve. They'd officially conquered the biggest music market in the world. But you know how these stories sometimes go. Right when they were at the absolute peak of their success, a conflict that had been simmering behind the scenes just exploded, and suddenly the group's entire future was on the line. So what happened? Well, it was basically a massive power struggle. On one side, you have Min Hee-jin. She's the CEO of their label, Adore, and really the creative genius behind the group. On the other side, you have Hybe, the massive parent company. And at the end of the day, it all came down to a battle for control. And as you can see from this timeline, things went south fast. What started as a corporate fight in April 2024 quickly dragged the members right into the middle of it. By September, they were on a live stream publicly backing their CEO. Then, just 2 months after that, they made the huge move of trying to terminate their own contracts. The court eventually ruled against them, but it was too late. The damage was done. The group was fractured. So the court made its decision, giving a legal answer. But that's not the same as fixing things, right? It couldn't mend the trust or the broken relationships, and so the group, the members, and all their fans were just left hanging in this awful state of uncertainty. And this is where things stand now. As you can see, 3 of the members have agreed to go back to the label. 1 is still in talks, and 1, her contract was terminated. That original 5-member group that just took the world by storm, for now at least, it's gone. What this whole public, messy situation has really done is pull back the curtain on the power dynamics inside the K-pop industry. It's a super rare and very high-profile case of artists trying to push back against the kind of intense pressure and strict control that can really define their whole careers. So after completely rewriting the rules and hitting these incredible heights, the group that was supposed to be the NewJeans of pop has kind of become a cautionary tale. And it leaves us with this huge question. It's not just about whether they'll ever release another album. The bigger question might be, can the K-pop industry itself change and evolve so that something like this doesn't happen to its next big thing?